Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for this invitation. You have a very wonderful campus. If I'm a student here, I probably would not leave this place. It's a wonderful place. As you know, Singapore is it's a very small country. My organization dates back to 1965 when we got our independence from Malaysia. Our main focus, Jurong, is to create jobs for Singaporeans way back in 65 through industrialization. Of course, SEZ, the whole of Singapore you can consider as an SEZ. It's very, very small. If you look at Singapore as a map, it's a diamond shape. The longest point from east to west is 42 kilometers. That's one marathon. That's it. So we are very small. That's why it's important that we are always ahead of the curve in the region, especially when we have a large nation like Thailand, Malaysia, and probably also Indonesia, where their cost of labor is very cheap, and the land rental is very cheap in these countries. So we have to always move up the value chain as far as Singapore is concerned. For us, it's a question of survival. I want to talk a little bit about the whole industrial ecology. Time again, we focus a lot on incentive, taxation, as like the Deputy Mayor says. I think that's not the only factor that sort of attract investors. Because as a nation or as SEZ, taxation, incentive, those are things which is very easy to copy. Your competitors can copy that easily, all right? And the other thing is that there need to be a balance, like the Deputy Mayor said. Because if you over-provide incentive, over-provide taxation, I suppose your investors may think, hey, there may be something wrong with that place, okay? So we have to have a balance in that. But I'm going to talk about the ecology that makes the total system and the total integrated approach as Singapore takes in terms of promoting special economic zone. One basic thing is human resource. I think it's important to have the appropriate human resource available in your country. And human resource takes time to develop. So you have to have a projection, say 5, 10 years from now. And the institution that produces students has to be skillful enough to be able to compete and able to be applied to the industries that you're going to attract. The human resources are very important. As you know, Singapore, the only resource we have is human resources. All other things are imported, including water. And because of that, we actually have technology to actually recycle water, wastewater to drinkable water. So in Singapore, if you are there, if your coffee tastes a bit funny, you know why, right? So human resource is another thing. It's very important for us. The second factor I think very important is also to have a very conducive business environment, not only within the SEZ, but as a region. I think conducive business environment, for example, like how many days it takes for a company to register in your region. Things like that are very, very important. Conducive business environment. And the other thing is for the region, agencies that is directly or indirectly related to trade has to work together somehow. Yeah, there are countries where we know that different agencies, although they are different agencies, they are competing with one another. That's not very good. So it has to work in tandem to attract investors coming in. National teamwork, I call that. The other more important factor is small, medium enterprise development. Small, medium enterprise development is important. It's for your backward link. Small, medium enterprise, as far as Singapore is concerned, we want to nurture this to one day be multinational. Small, medium enterprise should be allocated, also space allocated for small, medium enterprise to be as near as all this SEZ. Because these are support activities which SEZ, companies in SEZ depend a lot on. In fact, in India, the concept of SEZ, there is a component within the SEZ called domestic tariff area. Domestic tariff area are, in these areas, these are located small, medium enterprise of India. So small and medium enterprise is important. Why is it important? Because multinational comes and go. Small, medium enterprise are your own homegrown enterprises. They will stay no matter what. Another one is, of course, monitoring international competitiveness. You have to monitor where you are, benchmark against the best in the world. Whatever you're doing, where you are, how you're going to get there, what are people, what are the best, who are the best people, what are they doing? These are important to benchmark yourself so that you are not far off from the competitive environment. Okay, SEZ is great to have SEZ. You have the best master plan SEZ, the best concept in the world, but if you do not go out of your country to promote SEZ, nobody knows. So for us, market and investment promotions are important. So meaning if you have an SEZ, let's say one of the clusters is Microsoft. I'm sure you have go out to the States or whatever, invite Microsoft into your SEZ. This is important because you need to have an anchor tenant. Anchor tenant, once you have one or two anchor tenants, the rest will come. The supporting industries of those industries will come around. So anchor tenant, attracting the anchor tenant is crucial to start with. Of course, naturally, this you cannot live without. Physical infrastructure, water, sewage, electricity. It has to be planned and developed in tandem with the physical development of the special economic zone. And also, I think you have to look beyond your boundary. Whatever SEZ, whatever clusters or industries that you are that you are attracting in your SEZ, attracting into your countries, look beyond your national boundary. For us in Singapore, if we do not look beyond our physical boundary, we are finished, we are dead. So we look beyond our physical boundary, as you see from the slides. Within 3 hours of flight, within 5 hours of flight, there you see cities of great population, 30, 60 million people. As far as Singapore is concerned, that's our market. So sometimes you have to look beyond your boundaries as far as market is concerned. That's why today Singapore is also a financial hub, what we call a transportation hub for logistic hub, and also a medical hub for the region. So it's a question of looking beyond your boundary. Look, dream big, I suppose. Okay, we do SEZ positioning or we do country positioning. I think this is one of the important factors that you want to plan long term. This is economic positioning. This is how we do economic positioning. You see on the slide, economic positioning is to determine what are the clusters, for example, 0 to 5 years from now, 5 to 10 years from now, 10 to 15 years from now, that the country requires. And then from that, we are able to tell the number of labor, the number of workers required, and the population that we create. And also from that, we are able to tell we also calculate infrastructure demand in terms of power, electricity, the works. So it has to be phased, first phase, second phase, third phase, and so on. Economic position for us is crucial for a small country like Singapore. How do we face the economic progress? We depend a lot on what are the assessment of the infrastructure at that point in time. What is the stage of human capital? What are the institutions available at that point in time to support the industries that you are going to bring in? And lastly, of course, the business environment. So these are the things we assess, and we will bring in industries only when we assess all these 4 big elements. After assessing all the big elements, those are quantification, and then we will apply it to the region in terms of phasing. By the way, my friend from Brazil, this is actually Minas Gerais, Brazil. This is a project that we did for Minas Gerais in Brazil about economic positioning, regional positioning. And this is how we do it for Brazil and also for Singapore, as far as we're concerned. Phasing and location of important industries in strategic areas. Industrial land is important and it's unique. We in Singapore safeguard industrial land for, say, 50 years from now. Why I say that industrial land is unique? If you are in a real estate business, you know industrial land, in terms of real estate value, is always very low compared to residential, retail, and even commercial. So if we do not safeguard industrial land in their strategic position, we will lose that. For example, today, if you take airport today is not just a transportation terminal. Airport today, we in Singapore take it as an economic engine for the country. As an economic engine from the country, the areas around airport, particularly industrial land, is crucial. Therefore, we have to safeguard crucial industrial land around the airport. Today, if you see Singapore Airport, the land around Singapore Airport for industrial land, only 40% has been used. 60% is still reserved because we can never be sure that in a space of 50 years, those industries which we never anticipate will have to be located there. And if we use up all the industrial land there, we will lose our strategic position. All right? Okay, just to zoom in on the industrial estate per se. This is zooming in, micro level. At micro level, when we plan an industrial land, I think it's important to plan so that 60 to 70% of the land is sellable land or rentable land. We also would like to also plan a common service corridor, meaning all your electricity, drainage, whatever, in a common service corridor. Why we do that is because we don't want to dig and then bury, dig and bury. So you have to have a common service corridor plan ahead of time. Size and configuration of plots are important. If you do a projection, you know what are the industries you're going to attract 0 to 5, 5 to 10 years. You know what are the requirements. So you plan the lot according to the size required, configuration required. The other important factor also ready-built factories. Within the SEZ, from our experience, I think within 10 to 15% of areas has to be allocated for ready-built factories. Ready-built factories means you have already built factories ready for people to come in. Because some of the industries coming into the SEZ do not require a very specialized building. They just want to come in, plug and play, that's it. So you have already ready-built factories for quick startup. Road frontages also important. SEZ, for example, if you want people like Microsoft to be your brand carrier, there has to be some road frontage lots for big boys, because then it will bring good image to your park. Amalgamation and subdivision of lots are important. We plan the park in such a way that if a bigger occupier coming in needs bigger lot, we just amalgamate the lots without interfering with the with the general master plan. So that's crucial. Amenity center and training center, crucial. Amenity centers are areas where for workers, for their lunch, for banking, supermarket, you have to have several of these within the park, depending on the size. Management company is crucial, because whatever happens to the park, let's say there's no electricity suddenly, who do you call? The management company. So management company is crucial for the success of the park. Very, very important, because getting people to your park is one battle won, but retaining people there is crucial. So management company plays a role in retaining companies in your park. I think before I go off, I think there are a few key points as a takeaway. One, positioning your park or positioning your country or positioning the region is very important. Second, tripartite partnership between the government, the private sector, and the universities to create a total ecology to attract investment. The other one is, of course, your park has to be import-export distribution center. The other important point, also performance-based incentive. You want to have a performance-based incentive, not just incentive, 100% incentive. Because performance-based incentive is that some guys are not doing well in 2 or 3 years. You may just don't stop in the incentive. You cannot go in for, you cannot give incentive forever. And of course, within the park, you need value-added services, okay? Like example, the management companies and all that, all right? So before I end, I'm not new to Russia. In fact, our companies have done projects, and I have been in Russia for maybe my 7th time now. My wife is actually getting very suspicious. I thought I maybe have a second family here. So I want to learn Russian because I should have spoken Russian, but to learn Russian is even worse. Then she will suspect I have a second wife. But we are in Russia. We have done Skoskovo. We took part in Skoskovo competition. We have finished a vision plan for Pushino. We have actually planned some special economic zone in Tomsk, Russia. And most recently, we have finished a project in Moknino, special economic zone, 200 hectares. And we are actually also helping them to go beyond just planning. We are involved in their what we call marketing promotion, investment promotion throughout. Spasiba. Thank you very much.